exciting stuff in eights. At the back of the island there, you get the impression that you're racing gladiatorially, very, very close together. You've got the island on one side, the bank on the other side, and it's a real thrill coming off the start. They begin to settle down now. Difficult from this angle to see who's in front, but I suspect it's the Lee, possibly.
Yeah, I think they've really taken it on. They're, in their very distinctive. There's no mistaking the Lee in their very distinctive orange kit, orange blades on the left-hand side of your picture. I had them at the end of the island. I clocked them on my ratings watch at still 38, 39. They really went out there quite decisive. They've settled down now to a more slightly more comfortable 35, 36. But they're not getting their nose in, they got their nose in front, but City of Oxford kept their rating up and they've pushed back on through now. So City of Oxford kept their rating higher longer. They've kept their long stroke. So City of Oxford still up at 37 strokes per minute. So it'll be interesting to see as we go down the race. They're obviously putting more work in now. It's paid off. They've got their nose in front, but can they hold it?
Well, they're just over quarter distance, I would say. They're heading now down past the church at Remenham towards what was formerly the old barn. Then come across the enclosures where the boating area is. That's about the halfway point. Now, normally the crew that's ahead, he says, at this point go on and win. However, this looks to still have a bit in it, this race. The Lee nearest to us and Oxford on the far side. Oxford seem to settle down, but the Lee are not going to let them go, are they?
Well, this is Championship 8s. You've got very experienced women in these boats. They will have raced a lot this season. They've come here to do something. So these crews really are not giving in. This is the closest race, I think, that we've seen all day so far. Still, City of Oxford, I think, still have it. They're still a little more punchy. They've kept their rating a little bit higher. It's fantastic to have such, in a Championship 8 event, to have such good standard. Looking good, this City of Oxford crew. They pulled out now. Coming past our commentary position, we can turn and we can have a look, and they pulled out to about 3 feet of clear water now. Coming down with about...
Yeah, we're just over halfway through this race. So there's about, another 3 minutes, possibly 3.5 minutes of rowing left in this race. And the Lee are not giving up, but they're just not as punchy as they were off the start. City of Oxford looking very tidy there as they go past us, heading down towards Upper Thames, and then the finish, which is at Remenham Club. Conditions here just got a bit dark then, and a few spots of rain. How will that affect them when it starts to rain? Are they aware of it, do you reckon, Alice?
No, it's not something, especially when you're already racing. I mean, the rain's been threatening all day, but when you're actually out there racing, it's not something you worry about. The only, it's an outdoor sport, you get on with it. I always feel rather sorry for the coxes in the rain and the wind, but they just get on with it as well. And City of Oxford certainly have got on with this race. Lee really took it on at the start. They had a higher rate, but City of Oxford were able to settle into their rhythm more quickly, and they've just increased their lead. They've kept pushing it on. At this point, there's always a bit of this is the point when the cox now really needs to read the race and make a decision.
I was just going to say then, the cox is a crucial part of the crew, particularly in eights. Big responsibility. So they're doing the calls, they're driving the strokeman, indeed the whole boat on, but they need to be aware that this is not just a one-off race. It's an event. They've got a number of rounds to get through.
Well, they've already raced this morning, and which is a good thing, a nice kind of warm up and lung opener. But now, they're just there. That was just the point. I was wondering when they were going to do it, and just there, they've opened out. There's been a call. I mean, they've not dropped it a lot, but they've just dropped it down a little bit. They've got, length clear water now. They can settle. So you've got the decisions in both boats. Both the coxes are having to work now, quite hard now, even though it's not a close race. The cocks of the lead boat in the City of Oxford will be having to just read this race, save the legs of the girls. They've dropped it right down. And that's interesting. So the Lee Rowing Hub have just dropped that down as well. You normally expect them to fight out to the end. I suspect this is because they're competing in smaller boats, in other events. Very common in Women's Henley, particularly in these Championship 8s, they're not going to get a huge number of races.
And down
they
at the
swap
start,
over.
we have the start of race number 7, Sons of the Thames Rowing Club against Thames Rowing Club. So these two clubs not too far apart physically, I would suspect. And it's the Thames Rowing Club nearest to us, although, to be honest with you, they do not look like...
That's not the right club
No,
colours.
that's Auriol Kensington, is it not? And Tideway Scullers School. So
We must have changed
we're on
order.
race number 8, Championship 8. This is race number 8. This is Auriol Kensington, nearest to the bank, and Tideway Scullers School, crew number 12. And we're going to see the start here. The cox's hand is raised, so both cox's hands, so their boat is not straight. They're not happy. Both hands go down. The umpire launched just out of sight, but the umpire will be giving them the go.
The tension, I can feel it now, the tension sitting on this start, just
And they've got to
waiting.
hold their nerve here. The cox's hands remain down. We have race number 7 on the course at the moment. This is Sons of the Thames against Thames Rowing Club. Sons of the Thames nearest to us. You don't hear so much these days of Sons of the Thames. They'll probably murder me for saying that, but you used to hear them back in the day. But this is great to see Sons of the Thames 8 out.
Look, they've really taken this race on. They're really, it's true, clubs go through phases. Once a club starts winning, starts to become popular, other people join and go, and so it comes into its own. And I mean, that's what's happened with Thames. Thames have been a dominant crew for a long time, but they will put out a lot of crews here. But this is great. The Sons of the Thames have put out a Championship Women's 8, which are looking very good here today. They've taken a length out of Thames Rowing Club in the first third of this race.
That's excellent, and it just shows the popularity of women's rowing. As a sport, I read the other day that rowing is the second fastest growing sport for females. Did you know that?
Well, that's good, interesting to hear that update. When I started, many moons ago, about 25 years ago, it was the fastest growing women's sport in the UK.
You were a mere child then,
I
surely.
was.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so they've crossed the finish. So well done. That's Sons of the Thames there crossing the line. Head of Thames Rowing Club. Thames Rowing Club always very well represented at this regatta. This is now race number 8 that we are watching. Championship 8, Auriol Kensington and Tideway Scullers School.
And Tideway Scullers School, so we were about 30 strokes past the end of the island now. Tideway Scullers School still at rating 36. They've taken an early and quite decisive lead over Auriol Kensington. The distinctive banded colour of Tideway Scullers on the right-hand side of your picture, the orange and yellow, and Auriol Kensington with the pink and green. Tideway Scullers experienced crews, experienced club. And they've raced a lot at Henley.
So this is Intermediate Club 8s for the Invesco Perpetual Challenge Cup, sponsored by Invesco Perpetual. Invesco Perpetual have been a fantastic sponsor of this regatta over the years, and it's race number 8, Auriol Kensington and Tideway Scullers School.
Okay, sorry, apologies.
Yeah.
Club 8s.
If I'd agreed with you, Alison, both of us would have been wrong. Have you
I
seen
do
that?
apologise.
Have you seen that sign somewhere?
Yeah, I do apologise.
I thought it's funny, but a bit
Club
rude.
8s,
But
Intermediate
it is funny. But I will be wrong lots. But it is Intermediate Club 8.
Club
And
8s.
it's just fantastic to see these clubs putting out so many crews. You know, Sons of the Thames, Tideway Scullers School, plenty of women rowers there. Thames have always been very strong. Auriol, Kensington, has to be said, not always known for a massive amount of women rowing at Auriol, Kensington.
But great, great to get a women's 8 out here. They're looking good. You know, there's nothing. They're looking really tidy in their technique, very strong through the water. But this is a dominant Tideway Scullers crew here today. They've got good length of clear water now, powering down. For both of these crews, their second race of the day. Tideway Scullers School still up at rating 35.
Full 3-a-day event now, Henley Women's Regatta. Over 425 crews, I think somebody was saying, and that's amazing. Now, again, years ago, when it just started up, it was quite a small affair, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's grown as women's rowing has grown, and it's just attracts. It's a real pinnacle of the season, and even though women now do race at Royal Henley, which is fantastic, it's great that it hasn't diminished the status of this regatta. It's just wonderful being here and just seeing so many girls, so many women dedicated to what they do and excelling at what they do. And rowing is just such a wonderful sport. It gave me a whole life of exercise and being fit and confidence, and it will give these women that as well. And that Tideway Scullers School crew is certainly looking very confident now.
Yeah, we're looking now at this is race number 9, which is the Intermediate Club 8, Exeter Rowing Club and City of Bristol Rowing Club. Alison, they've made their way off the start and they're going up through the car parking area towards Remenham Church. And
it's neck and neck. This is a close race.
It is a close race.
Close race in this heat of the Intermediate Club 8s. Exeter on the left of your picture.
And we've got images
Bristol on
here.
The right from the drone. The first pictures from the drone now.
Wow, look at that. That is absolutely fantastic. So our drone camera here overhead is showing that it is the crew from Bristol, City of Bristol, as they keep telling me, not Bristol City, that's a football club. This is City of Bristol. They lead Exeter, and you can see there a few people on the towpath. We're going through the car parking area, heading down on the left-hand side there, past the old barn, and then coming up to the enclosures. Quite a big crowd here today, a lot of spectators, a lot of crews, and as they head down now, they're just about coming to the halfway, and it's about half a length lead that City of Bristol have over Exeter. Fantastic shot here of the course, 1,500 metres from the top of Temple Island down to Remenham Club.
Yeah, this is a fantastic race, and then those drone shots, just amazing.
You like a bit of drone, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, it cut in, it's our first ones, and you can really tell what's going on, and just shows rowing in such positive light. And we could see there that the City of Bristol had got out to about half a length lead, but Exeter have pulled that back, and we've got still got overlap by Exeter pulled that back to within a third of a length now. City of Bristol have been over-rating slightly all the way down the course, which can either mean that they've got the physical capability and the fitness and the technique to hold that, or it can mean that Exeter have got a bit more in reserve, and that's what I think we're seeing playing out now as we come into the last stages of this race. Exeter holding on well there. It'll be interesting to see as we come into the finish how much these crews have got left. City of Bristol still holding their form though.
They are indeed. It's City of Bristol. They're led pretty much from the start, although not by much. They've been pushed all the way by Exeter, but it looks now as if they've broken clear.
That's interesting. So City of Bristol maintaining their rate of striking up at 35-36, but Exeter just there. They were still almost had overlap when they dropped it down to about 32. So they've they've kind of dropped that down now, and that's enabled City of Bristol in the closing stage of this race to finally pull clear. It's always such a relief when you do that. The
It
moment
is,
when
but
you
it's a
kind of
dangerous
pull
game.
past
I mean,
that.
I've seen people caught out by that. They've dropped it low. Somebody in the boat's lost a bit of concentration, caught a crab or something, and then they've been sort of caught on the line. So you want to leave enough to win, but you don't want to absolutely drive yourself into the ground.
This is the
Good race, really
it was.
good
I mean,
stuff.
it really was good for that first, the first 3 quarters of the race.